Hello and welcome to The Rest is Football with Micah Richards, Alan Shearer and me, Gary Lineker. None of us have been working today. I was with Micah yesterday in the Match of the Day office and studio and lots of hours together. And Alan, you had your special charity event for your foundation last night. Tell us about it. How did it go?
It was a great night, guys. It went really, really well. We had 340 people in the Hilton Hotel. We have it once a year.
In Newcastle, presumably.
In Newcastle, yeah, sorry. And we raised just short of 200 grand, I think. So it's about 6.6 million we've done now since 2012. So, we have a ball, we have a golf day, and just to raise funds and sponsors as well. So the generosity of people have been amazing. We had the Jersey boys playing last night. Wow. It was they had it absolutely rocking. It was a great night. Yeah.
Tell people what the foundation does, Alan. Because I've seen it with the little kids, and I know you've spoken to it before, but a lot of people won't know.
Yeah, it's an activity centre. We have the rooms. It's what we do. We ensure that disabled people and their families are able to benefit from all the specialist sensory, leisure and sort of social facilities and the bedrooms we have there. We've got swimming pool and hydrotherapy rooms and music rooms, sensory, all of those things. But we give it away for free. But to do that, as I said, we have to raise over 300 grand a year to give it away free. So if you've got a disability or a child with a disability, then we also give the respite in terms of the rooms as well. So if you have a child with a disability and you want a sort of a night or whatever it is, then the kid can sort of stay there as well. So it's an incredible place. It really is amazing. So that's it only works because of the generosity of so many people. For us to raise that amount of money every year, it's incredible. And last night was one of those evenings where everyone again was so generous in what they give.
Amazing, absolutely.
Brilliant.
What made you? Obviously, I know the reasons why you would start it, but what made you first think of the idea to do it consistently for so long?
When I had my testimonial, Micah, in 2006, the fans raised 1.6 million, and I give it all away to charity, and this was the biggest benefit from that. It was the easy part was giving away. The hard part was sort of deciding where to give it, because there is no such thing as a bad charity. So we set this up, and we sort of it was an old derelict building just outside Newcastle, which we sort of did up, and it's got bigger and bigger. And then from about 2012, we sort of transformed it. We made it a lot bigger and better and different. And from then onwards, really, it's just been a matter of raising as much as we can every year. And it's tough at times because money's tight for a lot of people. Things are tough, So for them to be as generous as they have done, then it's just bloody brilliant. Yeah.
Fantastic. Absolutely. Well done. You get United soon, for that, surely. How's your day, Micah?
Just relaxed yesterday. It was a long day yesterday at Match of the Day, wasn't it? I think we'll talk about the games later, but it wasn't a sparkling afternoon and evening, was it?
No.
See what happens when I'm not with you?
Yeah.
But obviously, Joe, I'm so happy for Joe Hart now coming to the punditry. I think he's doing a really good job. And after football, you don't quite know what you're going to do. But I think he's taken to it really well. Yeah. He's confident, speaks well. He's still learning things after the moment yesterday.
Oh, there was a wonderful... I don't know whether you saw it, Alan, but it was brilliant, wasn't it, Mike? It was so fun because Mike and myself were almost corpsing with laughter because
really
he's doing his analysis, and Jamie was editing last night, and Joe was going through his little bits, and Jamie sort of, what did he say? Can you remember what exactly he said?
He said it was a heck of a header because Van Hecke scored.
So Van Hecke and Jamie was like, "Oh, that was a heck of a header," and Joe answered him, all his ear in his ear, and he went, "Yes, it was."
Brilliant.
Mike and myself, because we hear the same feed in our ears, the gallery talking. And it was so funny. It's hilarious.
Brilliant.
It was a brilliant
Fantastic moment. But he is doing really well. And I tell you what, he works hard at it as well. And that, because it's quite easy to come in and think, well, this is easy, this analysis and this just talking about football. But he works really hard. He's going to be very good. He already is.
Yeah, he's a nice guy.
There was a lot of goalkeeping stories last night, actually, as well, which kept it interesting. But let's start with today's game, the Arsenal we've just watched now. It's Sunday evening. So obviously Arsenal frustrated by just drawing at Manchester United when they needed a win just to have any real chance, even though I think it's all done and dusted. But they're struggling up top, as we've said a million times this season. Yeah,
they were blunt. I mean, a lot of good play really up until the final third, but it was same again, wasn't it? I mean, Declan scored a great goal in off the post, but they were just lacking a killer instinct. I was watching, that when Martinelli came on the right-hand side, he put one great ball in, I think it was, across the 6-yard box, and there was just no one there to even attack it. And that sort of summed Arsenal up for me, unfortunately.
Can you guys explain to me, do you guys get frustrated watching the lack of number 9s, or not even just a lack of number 9s, the lack of movement in forward areas? Because Man City won the league without a recognised number 9, but if you've got midfielders who are willing to run into there, I just thought at both ends it was quite flat. I felt so sorry for Højlund because he's trying so hard. It's almost like he's trying too hard. And Arsenal didn't really have a massive threat going forward. So just from strikers' point of view, is it frustrating to see the game like that? Especially when there was so many great forwards in the past.
Yeah, I mean, look at those two great football clubs, Man United and Arsenal. Look at some of the forwards that Man United have had, Arsenal have had over the years. Great forwards and great centre forwards, great goal scorers. And then you look at both of the clubs today and how flat they are. Up top, it really is. I mean, I do it because I said that when that ball was fizzed across the 6-yard line today for Arsenal, I just thought, where is the forward? There's actually no one. There's no one there. There was no one attacking it. And yeah, I mean, I'm the same as you, Micah, with Højlund. You got to feel for him because through no lack of effort, he's still getting in there, but it's just not happening for him, is it?
We were talking on the group chat before this, weren't we, about what's happened to number 9s? There are so few of them, and I'll go back to a point I think I've made before that I think because of the slight change tactically in football, whereas when we played, Alan, there were always two men up top, wasn't it? Sometimes one would play a bit deeper the other, but you'd alternate, often a big guy and a smaller guy. But it was a partnership and everyone wanted to be a 9 and with centre forwards, as we used to call them, or strikers. Yeah. And whereas now most teams play with kind of 3 forwards, don't they? One on either side, but they're not quite wingers. So the best players tend to be in those wide spots. Salah to name but one, even Messi, Ronaldo, before he eventually played as a 9. But so I think it's probably a more attractive game to play in many ways because you're often running at people, facing the play. It's not quite as challenging as playing up top. And I think maybe the kids now, they want to play in those roles where they can dribble and beat people, but also score lots of goals because you're not stuck on the touchline like in the old 4-4-2 formation. So maybe that's an answer. There are still some terrific 9s in world football, but going back 20 years or so. I mean, there was even just in this country there were a plethora of them. But I think that might be the reason for it.
If you watch Champions League football and you watch Europa League and even Conference League, there are 9s in those teams, though. If you look at Inter Milan, they've got Martinez, they've got Thuram. You look at Leverkusen, they have got Boniface. If you look at someone like Bayern Munich, they've got Kane, Barcelona, Lewandowski. But they are, it's not the same level as it was 20 years ago. So I think they're out there, but just not the level that we all expect.
There's some great number 9s, but there's just nowhere near the number that there were before. Because even if you just go back to Alan's era for England, for example, Fowler, Sheringham, Shearer, Ian Wright,
Ferdinand.
Ferdinand.
Cole.
I mean, really, really good players in that area. But in those days, there were always two up top. Remember when Manchester United was so successful? When in 1999, they got, Solskjaer and Sheringham and then
Cole and York.
Cole and York and so many, all at the same time at the club, all four of them together. So I just think it's a slight change in youngsters. The really talented ones always wanted to be the 9, but I just think now they want to be the one on either side. Yeah. I don't know. I might be wrong, but and I don't know how easy it is to prove.
Yeah, but I mean, going back to the game, I think it was probably I thought Man United did a little bit better actually in the second half. They created one or two decent chances, but it's probably a fair result in the end, I guess, wasn't it? Neither team did enough to win it.
I think it was about right. What did you make of the Fernandes free kick? 2 points really. Some people are quite critical of Raya on that one, even though he made a couple of unbelievable saves in the second half. But also the fact that the wall was almost 12 yards away. Yeah, I actually thought, well, that's quite refreshing. He's put them back, because so often now you see the wall about 6 yards away or 7 yards away, and it's almost impossible to score. But you can see why perhaps Arsenal might have the hump about that.
Yeah, I thought the keeper showed him it was a huge space he had to aim at, not taking anything away from. I mean, it's a great skill to be able to do that, to get it to get the pace on it and up and down as quick as he did. So it was a brilliant free kick, but the keeper was miles away from it, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think that's the key. I think a lot of people would be asking, who are not diehard fans, what does it matter? If the wall's further back, you can get the ball up and down because you've got more space to get the ball up and down, so it's more difficult for the goalkeeper. But I mean, if we're scrutinising that, the referee took 10 steps, didn't he? If you actually watch the footage back, we can't be blaming the referee for that, because that happens.
Yeah.
I think now in football, I think we're over-analysing everything. The referee's human. He's walked out and took 10 steps.
Micah, be careful. That's your actual job.
yeah, but I mean, you've got all these amazing, technologies nowadays that give you precise, but football's never been like that, has it? And you can't expect the referee to get a ruler out and start measuring exact lengths.
Well, that's probably what they'll do next. Wouldn't surprise. That'll be another 20-minute wait while we have to actually measure it properly with a tape. Imagine getting a little tape, like a told tape measure out. Hold it for me at the other end, would you? Right, okay. Yeah,
I think the more frustrating thing for Arsenal is, after the Champions League with that big 7-1 win, to come to Old Trafford and not being able to break down Man United. I think that is the bigger question. You can blame all these little referees or decisions or whatever it may be, but ultimately I thought Man United defended a lot better. They had a go in the second half, and they've got some good results against the better teams. Now what we know about Man United, they can do it if they're in a deeper block. They struggle when they're in the mid-block or try to press. They got a good result against Liverpool, Man City, and now Arsenal. And that's what they are, until they get exact players in that they need. That's what they are. They're a counteracting team,
Which is why they probably perform better against the better teams, because the better teams will attack. Whereas if you're playing like the clubs in the bottom half of the table, they're more likely to sit really deep themselves, and then United have to come out, and then they're very vulnerable to the counter themselves.
No, that's right. Absolutely. That's. They frustrated Arsenal the same way in the FA Cup when they knocked them out at the Emirates. That's what they did. They defended really well, and they took them to penalties in the end and knocked them out, didn't they? So, and it was a decent defensive display, I thought, from Man United. I thought Arsenal were really weak in forward positions.
You know what? I think we need to give Bruno a bit of praise. I think in terms of being someone who steps up all the time, and yes, at times he can be frustrating. I've said many times on this pod, when he's waving his arms about, it's not great for your teammate, especially when people can see that, the crowd, and you're getting onto young players or whatever it may be. But in terms of quality, he's still got the quality. His numbers for Man United are incredible since since he's been there in a team that's been struggling.
Yeah.
And whether that's a cute pass, whether that's a goal, whether that's, sort of trying to galvanize a team with his leadership, I think he's been brilliant. I really do. And I think in a better team, you would have seen a better Bruno Fernandes.
They're in a mess, but imagine the situation they'd be in if it wasn't for him.
Exactly. Exactly that. Exactly. And I know United fans want to see more, but I just think it's very difficult at times for a player who wants to play a certain way and is looking for a pass and other players are not seeing it. You are going to get a little frustrated. It was just the waving the arms I didn't like in previous games. But I just think this season, in big moments, although not doing great in the league, he's still been very good this season.
I think that's a fair point. A couple of the youngsters perhaps showing promise for United. We saw Obi, didn't we? He didn't come on today, but we saw him when he played against Fulham last week. Looks promising up front. The two youngsters they got from Arsenal. Heaven came. I love that name, Heaven. There's a headline there to be had at some point.
Yeah.
I thought he did really well.
Yeah, he did. I thought he did really well. Yeah, he looked comfortable, looked assured, and a couple of important tackles and blocks. And yeah, he did really well in the second half. He did.
I think when you watched the game, his first touch was a header. Because I always watch defenders when I come on. Just make sure your first touch is good. The ball come in and he headed it away. It was brilliant. And that's when you can get the confidence. You just want to do the basics, don't you? And I thought he did the basics really well when he came on for Euro.
What did you make about, I mean, hard to be critical of him because he didn't get on, but it's Raheem Sterling. They even brought Tierney on and then played him quite far forward.
Pretty damning, isn't it?
Yeah, a little. It's a bit sad. He's been a brilliant player, for club and country for a long time. I wonder the fact that he played so much football at such an early age and brilliant football as well. Maybe that's taken a toll on him or something, or maybe he's lacking a bit of confidence, or who knows. He's not ancient, is he?
Yeah, it's you can tell even a bit of a spring has gone, and his belief in the confidence when he gets the ball is not quite that same, I don't know, energy or whatever it is. And I guess that's maybe confidence as well, because he hasn't played, and when he has played, he hasn't done so well.
I think it's just that sharpness, isn't it? I think he's had injuries. He goes to Chelsea in a different system. Didn't really see the best of him. He's played in a team which was winning every single week at Man City. Gone to Arsenal for another, a high pressing team. But he's just missing that sharpness. With Raheem, I mean, he was always good dribbling as a youngster. I remember him, I think it was at Charlton when he was young. And I used to see loads of clips of him running past like 7 players and just rolling it in. Oh, it was I think it was at QPR as well when he was younger. Then he goes to Liverpool. And what his strength was his runs sort of in behind, the timing of his runs and his acceleration. But now it doesn't seem to have that sharpness when he's running forward, which, it's sad to see because he's been, like you said, a top player in the Premier League.
Okay, let's turn our attention to the other 2 games played today. Spurs first against Bournemouth. It was looking a bit grim and a bit bleak for Spurs, but at least they salvaged something, came back from 2 goals down against Bournemouth. Surprisingly so, I thought, in some ways. Couldn't see it coming, but gives them a little bit of something going into that obviously now crucial second leg against AZ Alkmaar, who are trailing it as well. So they needed something. Yeah,
they needed something. You got to give them credit for the way they bounced back and got something out of that game. Wasn't pretty at times, but yeah, you're absolutely right. Well, that's their season, isn't it, in midweek. So they needed to take some belief into that game.
Yeah, agreed. They're getting all the players but I think they found it difficult with Bournemouth press. How good were Bournemouth with the press?
They pressed so
side.
well.
They're a really good side, Bournemouth. Yeah,
it was ridiculous. I mean, the best pressing side. Do you remember when Iriola come in and he said to me, guys, what's different? And I said, they're sort of pressing a little bit higher and they're sort of getting used to it. Now, to me, it looks like they're the best at league at pressing. They all know the jobs, know exactly what they want to do. And then they've just got really good players, haven't they? Kirkes I mean, at left back, he's just
The ball he put in,
outstanding.
Oof, the run and the ball, yeah.
Outstanding.
He's really good. I think they might struggle to keep him at Bournemouth.
He's been linked with Liverpool. I saw this week
sense.
as well.
Makes sense.
They've made some good signings, Bournemouth, I tell you, with their recruitment. Have been very, very good.
Do you know I heard was linked with Liverpool?
Oh.
Go on.
You're not going to like it, Al. Your mate Isak.
Can be linked all they want.
Honestly, Al, how much would you take for Isak now?
Wouldn't. What's the point? Why would you sell him? Why would Newcastle even contemplate selling him?
They can build a team. 250 million, whatever it would be.
You might just get his left foot for 150.
What? He's got that's just his left side now, the 150 mil.
Don't get me started, lads.
Oh, it's easy, isn't he? Just to nibble at him. Just to nibble at him a little bit. Maddison, late, coming off the bench again. And when he comes on, he always looks the part and plays some really good football. I'm a bit of a loss as what's happened there. I wonder whether there's been a bit of a fallout or...
What you heard, Micah?
Nope, I've not heard anything from Maddison. I think they've got the game in Europe, haven't they, next week?
Maybe he's thinking of that. Yeah,
so
maybe
he was thinking of that. Obviously, Son didn't start as well. He come on and scored the pen. But yeah, Spurs at this moment in time, I mean, they've been up and down all season, haven't they? But like you said, I don't want to judge them until they get all the players back. But I just thought Bournemouth were outstanding.
Yeah.
Apart from the goalkeeper error, Kepa, the penalty, I don't know why.
What was he doing?
Coming out there. I don't know why he's coming out there. It's so frustrating. Bournemouth played so well. And then even the Sarr goal where, it's a cross that's beat the goalkeeper. I don't know if I can blame him for that too much. But just, they were so comfortable. And then 2 rubbish goals to give away. I just thought Bournemouth, although they'd say go to Spurs away, you get a draw, but really they should have took 3 points.
I always used to, your eyes light up, don't you, Alan? When you're going into those positions and a goalkeeper comes hurtling out at you like he did with Son, and all you've got to do, you know that if you can get there before the keeper, that the keeper's momentum will take him straight into you.
Yeah.
There's no, no one's got a right to, you don't have to jump out the way.
Nope.
Yeah, but you know what? I hate this. Have you seen players, what they're doing now? Soon as a ball, they go through one-on-one and say the goalkeeper's coming out, or even the defender, they're just throwing... whatever leg it is.
That's a different thing. That is a different thing, and I agree with you entirely. But the Son one wasn't that because he came out.
They're not. But it wasn't. No, Son wasn't that.
Contact.
That was a goalkeeper error.
Right,
but have you seen what players are doing now?
Yeah.
It's winding me up. That it's not even a foul. They're going to a player, throwing their leg into the tackle.
And then they scream in pain and lie on the floor for 10 minutes. Yeah, absolutely. So irritating.
So irritating.
So I totally get that. Do you want to talk about... Well, Chelsea's game wasn't on television with Leicester, but the looks of it, it's probably just as well. Poor old Cole Palmer's in a bit of a rut. But he's going to, that's part of the learning process as a young player. Going through bad spells and you find out what someone's made of. He missed a penalty. Very good save, I must say, by Hermansen. But yeah, you go through these spells. Every player will do it. And... but it is tough for him at the moment. It's the first penalty he's missed, isn't it?
Yeah, you're right. Though.
Career.
He must have been thinking, here we go, I'm back. You get your pen, it's what you've been waiting for. Goals are back and you get that feeling again. But when he's missing, it's like, oh my goodness, it's like, how long is this going to last? But you're absolutely right. It's tough at times. We go through shit spells
everyone.
As a player, everyone has it, and you find out what they're made of. And he'll be back. It's fine. He'll get back. It's just a matter of when.
You know why I'm not worried about Cole Palmer? I don't know if you saw on the highlights when he missed the penalty. He runs to go take a corner, and he's just basically smiling like, "Oh my god, what's happening here?" It wasn't like it was the end of the world for him. He sort of like, "Okay, I'll get another chance the next game." He's got that mentality.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to jump back to the Spurs game, but while we're on the subject of penalties, Son's penalty was interesting. Can I say that Son's penalty was identical to the penalty that I took against Brazil?
When he missed?
Yes.
Okay.
What was the big difference?
The big difference is the keeper dived out the way of his one.
Word, missed. That's a key word.
Correct.
In all of this.
And my point is exactly that. If
No,
mine had
because
gone in, no one would ever have said what an idiotic penalty, even though
the difference is it went in the back of the net.
I understand that totally, Micah, but I'm just making the
you
point.
You could do the run up, and actually, I think it was different to yours because you sort of went a little bit too fast. I think if you watch when he took the penalty,
he 10
sort
minutes.
of waited and then guided it. You know, you could see him in his. How do you say?
I'll tell you what, he
vision.
went to do a Panenka and he fluffed it slightly. And that is definitely what happened there, because I know from my own experience. He went to do a Panenka, he fluffed it slightly, but got away with it. You can tell I'm not over it yet. But there we go. 12 defeats in their last 13 Premier League games for Leicester. I mean, it's beyond depressing, and we can't score a goal to save their lives. Can't keep a clean sheet. It's pretty grim.
Are you conceding now, Gary? You think you're down?
Foxes never quit, Micah. Never quit until it's mathematically possible. Now I'm speaking like a manager. Of course I'm giving up. I've fucking lost all hope.
He lost all hope 3 months ago.
It's a struggle. It's a struggle, but there we go. Let's take a break. When we come back, let's talk about Saturday's games. Welcome back to The Rest is Football with Alan Shearer, Micah Richards and me, Gary Lineker. Let's talk about Saturday's matches. We watched them all together, Micah. Liverpool, that was interesting because they were really, for the first time, certainly in the Premier League this season, although it followed on from a slightly fortuitous result in midweek against PSG, but they were really, really flat in the first half. And I think we saw perhaps, well, we didn't, but I think the players probably did at half time. I suspect they got something approaching a bollocking because they were different in the second half.
Salah mentioned it though, didn't he?
He did,
in his interview. And it's a hard one. You guys have played Europe, and like you say, they got from PSG away from home, sort of unscathed after they got battered, really. And then you go into this game, you're thinking we're playing bottom of the league. Yeah. We can turn up, we'll score
subconsciously.
3-4. Subconsciously. That's what you're thinking. Unfortunately, but Slots just doesn't have it, does he? He just doesn't have it. He said in the PSG, it was more tactical.
Yeah.
And then against Southampton, it was the lack of energy.
Work rate and energy, he said.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
3 changes
I
at half
understand
time.
it from a player's point of view. I totally get it from a player's point of view. But then he just made 3 subs at half time. Tsimikas off, Szoboszlai off, and Curtis Jones off. Brings on McAllister, Harvey Elliott, and Robertson. And instantly they make an impact. And I don't just want to say, 3 players changed the game, because in the second half, a game always opens up. Teams start to tire anyway. But you could see the press, certainly in the first 10 minutes, was a lot better from Liverpool. And then they get the first goal, and then, it was game over from that.
You can totally understand. I totally agree with you, Micah. The high of what happened in Paris Saint-Germain, and then having to come back, and then it's pretty natural, I guess, that fans are turning up thinking we're just going to win as well, but it never works like that. So that's when the manager's got to earn his money, when he got to make those changes and little tweaks and the bollocking that you got to give or whatever at half time, whatever was said. Whatever was said would certainly work, because second half were much better. 2
more goals for Mo Salah, both from the penalty spot. Good penalties as well. That's 27 Premier League goals now this season. Pretty remarkable. Micah's smiling because I know he made him captain of his fantasy team. This is our regular update. I expect everybody surely made Salah captain if they've got him in their team.
because of being PSG, you know how difficult it was. They brought him off with the PSG game.
You thought it might rest
PSG
him.
again next week at Anfield. It's going to take a lot out of him. Would they give him a rest against Southampton at home? I opted.
Salah doesn't rest. He plays every game.
I know, but Slot's different, isn't he? He's different. He don't care. And I just thought maybe Cole Palmer. So me and Harry, your son there, we had a little call or a text around 1:30, and we said, okay, it's time to go with Salah instead of Cole Palmer.
Well, it proved wise, given Cole. You lose points if you miss a penalty, don't you?
Who was on -2 at one stage.
Oh dear.
Anyway, he's having a bloody good season. Goodness me, it's incredible.
9 penalties. He scored them all this season. Yeah. It made me think, I wish I'd got on penalties at a club. I didn't, not until I was at Tottenham, I didn't take penalties. It's so annoying. I was 29 by then. Couldn't get on them anywhere I played.
I find that fascinating.
Well, the thing is, I came in at Leicester. Steve Lynex took the penalties. And he hardly made. He was a really good penalty taker. Right winger, Steve Lynex. Great lad. Then I went to Everton and I thought, I'll be on the pens. But Trevor Steven took the penalties. And there were times in the games where they have a penalty and Trevor would knock it in. I'm thinking, God, I just hope he misses one, just so I can perhaps get them. And then I went to Barcelona and they had bloody fullback taking them, Julio Alberto, great lad, and fullback. I mean, really. But he was good at penalties, so I couldn't get on them there either, I think. And then I got eventually at Tottenham. I said to Terry when I signed, I think, get me on penalties. All the goals that I'm missing out on here.
It's probably a good decision when you look at that Panenka for England against Brazil.
Yeah. I scored about 4 Panencas though. Really good ones. You're going to miss the odd one. And if you're going to do it in a friendly.
Yeah.
When it
But
doesn't
could you
really
not say to your teammates, guys, before you move on, I'm the striker. I know you're very good, but I'm also very good. And I'm the striker. Did you not have that a bit about you?
No, I didn't. I was never overly confident when I played. Wow. No, bizarrely for a finisher, but I was never, I wasn't like that. I was a bit shy, quiet. I was when I was young. I was. I didn't get on it.
I politely asked.
Yeah, I'll bet, yeah. I'm taking off.
There's no way Alan Shearer's going in to a dressing room and say, who was your left back? Philippe Albert at the time. It was unbelievable. Technical ability was off the... If he was taking pens and Alan Shearer was there, you think Alan's saying, you take the pens? There's no chance.
Yeah, let a centre-half take a pens, no chance.
There's a big difference that Shearer walks in with his big loud voice and me like do you mind if I take them, please? Anyway, never mind. So Liverpool go marching on.
15 points clear.
15 points clear. Arsenal have got 2 games before Liverpool play next, but it's not going to make any difference now. Done, no one's going to get close to them.
No.
It's done. But what's not done are the Champions League places. In fact, once you go to 4th to 9th, it's really tight. You lose a couple of games, suddenly you're mid-table. You win a couple of games, suddenly you're in 4th and 5th spot. Big win for Forest.
They were brilliant,
weren't they? They really
absolutely fantastic. He's got a well-oiled machine there, hasn't he, Nuno? His players all understand what they're doing. They've got pace. When they hit you on the counter attack. They make it so difficult for teams because of the way they defend. And yeah, I thought they deserved it. Forest. There was nothing lucky about it. There's nothing lucky about where they are. They deserve to be there. And I hope they can finish it off and finish in a Champions League spot.
I think they will.
Yeah, me too.
I think they will. Given the results as well, in particular last week, certainly in the Champions League, it looks very good for the 3 English clubs to be in the quarters. And I think the way this whole system works, the top 2 countries, I think it's looking pretty good for English clubs to get 5 next season, one of the 2 countries to get it. But yeah, I mean, defensively, they're very... they've had a couple of wobbles in recent weeks, but, generally defensively, that pairing in front of Matt Sells. Matt Sells now 12 clean sheets this season, most in the league. He's on course for the, what do they call it, the Golden Glove, do they? Or
Golden Glove,
yeah.
He's really been impressive this season. We spoke about Milinkovic and Murillo many times, but I think before with Forest, they did defend as a unit, but was giving more credit to the centre halves. But I think now it's all of them. I think it's all the team. I think they know exactly. Apart from that Newcastle game recently, where you got 4 past them, didn't you, Al? I think if I'm right. They sort of went back to basics a little bit. And I know that sounds ridiculous, but how they got points before was in a low block and then on the transition. And that's what they're good at. And they can do it because they've got the energy to do it. They've got the organisation to do it. They can bring on subs as well who know exactly what they want to do. And Alan's right. They deserved the victory. I thought
By the way, how impressive were the 2 fullbacks?
Williams and Olaina.
And Aina. Yeah, my goodness. They were brilliant, weren't they?
Yeah, really good. Really good. Really good going forward when they had to, but then one-on-one defending, I thought it was excellent. I think the sort of one-on-one battle with Doku and Olaina down that side, it was really, really great to watch because Doku's really good in one-on-one situations, but he needs to get further up the pitch. He beats someone and then he stops. He needs to beat someone and then go and then push into the box so nobody can touch him. But I agree. I thought Aina dealt really well with him on that occasion.
What about your mob, Micah, City?
No, I thought they played a lot better just until the final third. You know, that killer pass, or because they dominated possession. I think at times, certainly in some of the games, I didn't think they had control at times, but there was in control in the game in terms of possession. They was doing what they need to do. I just think they couldn't find a way through because Forest was so good. And obviously when you have possession, you know, you're always going to be liable to a counter-attack, and that's what happened. And when you counter-attack them, you've got to take the chance, and Hudson-Odoi did that.
Keeper should have saved it, right?
But Edison, he should be doing better. He made a really good save before that, though.
Yeah,
he got down.
Joe Hart made quite a good point about goalkeeping, didn't he? When there's a shot from there, even if it gets, which it did, a very slight deflection off the player's boot, it says it kind of makes it very difficult for the goalkeeper, even though they're that close. And he explained it really well, actually, about But yeah, you still, Edison will know that if you get beat there, then even if it is a tiny deflection, you end up taking the blame for it. But he did make a fabulous save from Hudson-Odoi before that, as you said. So, and the other game that was crucial in terms of European football was the game at the Amex where Brighton had that late winner against Fulham. There was a really good header, wasn't there, Micah, from Van Hecker in the...
It was a heck of a header.
It was a heck of a header. Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
That's brilliant.
That was such a brilliant moment.
Yeah, it was. It was.
They bounced back well, Brighton, because they had a bad patch, didn't they? They've now won 4 in a row.
Yes. Is it six in a row, including cup games as well?
In all comps.
In all comps, yeah.
4 in the 4 Premier League game.
But we have to give credit to the manager, don't we? The manager's 32.
Yeah.
I know.
He's managing a Premier League team at 32 years of age. We talk about young players bursting onto the scene at 15, 16, 17, whatever it may be. But he's managing a team and doing well for a long period of time, because a lot of people are saying...
Here's an important question. Can you be a manager and burst on the scene?
Yeah, I think you can. Yeah. I think this is what you call a burst on the scene. This is exactly
a little bit like Xabi Alonso did last year. He certainly burst onto the scene, didn't he?
But he's a lot older, isn't he?
A little bit, yeah. But yeah, I suppose, yes, he is. I mean, 32 is extraordinarily young, isn't it?
So Ian Wright went on an amazing career, but he come into the game late, doesn't he? And he won amazing things, but you wouldn't say that's bursting onto the scene, even though he did. But he was older. I just think Hürzeler, because of his age, that's what you say, bursting onto the scene. He's 32.
It must be odd being the coach manager, and you got players that are older than you.
It's weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
I've not spoken to James Milner about him, actually. I'm going to give him a call and see. But by all accounts, when he first went in there, he just said he was really engaging, really good tactically, and knew exactly what he wanted for the team. That's what he said early. And he's done it.
James Milner would be a very good guest for us, Micah, if you want to ask him.
You know what?
He's had a fantastically long and successful career.
Yes, he's been amazing, hasn't he?
I played with James at Newcastle, didn't I? He was at Newcastle. It's like he's the only player left that's still playing. That
I had that for a long time with Ryan Giggs, because I think my last ever game was at Old Trafford, and Ryan Giggs was in the opposing team, and he was about 17 at the time, and everyone was going, "My God!" And we were all going, "Wow, what a player this kid is!" And then he played forever, and he ended up being the only. And you kind of cling on to that, don't you?
Yeah.
So keep going, James. Yeah. Keep going.
He has had a great career, though.
Yeah,
Wow,
he really has. The Championship race is hotting up. Micah's Leeds, one of your many teams, lost at Portsmouth. Quite expensive. It's really tight there. Leeds 76 points. Sheffield United, who beat Preston yesterday, that's Saturday, I should say, and Burnley, who won 4-0 against Luton. I mean, what's happened to Luton this season's remarkable.
Luton had a red card, though, didn't they? After 5 or 10 minutes, wasn't it?
Yeah, they did. Yeah. But generally this season, the teams that went down, they're the ones that. Yeah. God, hope Leicester don't do that after they go down. That would be awful. But yeah, 2 points. Burnley only 2 points behind them. Burnley 26 clean sheets.
It's madness. Madness. I don't know if you guys get time to watch the Championship.
I watch some games, yeah.
The Championship is a brilliant watch.
Just honestly, as well, because I'm going to be watching a lot of it next season.
It's end to end. You don't know what's going to happen.
No VAR.
No VAR. Leeds have been on an amazing run. I think they won against Watford, a big score. I think it was 4-0. Then they beat Sunderland. And then they went to Sheffield United. I beat Sheffield United 3-1. Late
I think
doors.
They went 17 games unbeaten or something, wasn't it?
Yes. Yeah. And then you're thinking, okay, can you back it up against, I think they had West Brom at home. They drew that game. And then you go to Portsmouth and you lose. And there were so many chances in the game as well. I mean, they'll be kicking themselves now, because when you watch them this season, in terms of their squad and who they could introduce off the bench and the style of football, Dan James has been outstanding this season. Honestly, they've got Tanaka midfield, really good. I just want them, because I know all the players. I know all the Burnley players, because I watch Burnley. I go to their games. And obviously Leeds is local, so I know all their players as well. I just really want to see him in the Premier League.
It's one of them's going to have to go in the playoffs. It's going to be 2 from 3, and it's so tight. And you know what happens in those playoffs? It's so often the team in third that misses out, isn't it? Yeah. So often the case. So we'll see what happens. That's all for today on The Rest is Football. We'll be back on Wednesday with our question and answer episode. A reminder that if you do want to send a question, just go to therestisfootball.com. Have a great week, everyone. Goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me. Have a great week.